Let's look at the evolution of Homo sapiens from the beginning. We'll go all the way back to the Big Bang. Imagine at time zero, a huge number of pulses of energy were put into motion. The levels were so high that many of the pulses crashed into each other and formed stable, high-energy bundles. Scientists often referred to them as matter, but I would like to think of them as fuzzy, cloud-like bundles for our notion of the universe. The idea of bundles forming from pulses isn't anything new. The Bright-Wheeler process describes the mechanism of forming two such bundles, an electron-positron pair, out of two pulses, in other words, two photons. Photons have no mass and are waves of pure energy, while an electron and positron both have mass. The amount of energy required to do the conversion is huge, and the process is yet to be conclusively done experimentally. However, most physicists agree with this principle and believe it's just a matter of time until it's demonstrated. Evolution progressed as the initial energy bundles merged, resulting in larger stable structures. These are often called atoms and molecules. The systems were still soft energy clouds that were more stable together than they were in smaller groups. Later in evolution, they further clumped into much more complex arrangements, producing the earliest life forms. And life was something new. The conglomerations not only maintained themselves, they produced more structures like themselves. Although this was amazing, it wasn't the big twist to evolution. After many more millions of years, the simplest life forms had evolved even further, and they eventually developed into Homo sapiens. These creatures had fantastic neural systems with a large group of neurons in their skulls. This was the arrival of a human, but that wasn't the big twist either. Humans were still a large collection of energy bundles. They were made up of the same energy that began to accumulate milliseconds after the Big Bang. And although these particular bundles had clumped into all kinds of complicated superstructures, it was still a big bunch of energy. It was no different than a cluster that had composed a rock. Here is the big twist in evolution. A being was added to the human to create the first human being. The being was equivalent to what you call consciousness, self, person, soul, or some other similar name. Note that the being was added. It didn't develop. It wasn't the result of a mind emerging from a complex organization of energy bundles. The person was smashed with an otherwise unconscious bunch of bundles. So how was it put there? While unpopular, I hold the belief God was responsible for putting it there. Energy had evolved into some pretty fantastic structures, but it was God who added the consciousness to the picture. This may be why there are two accounts of creation in the Bible. The first account describes the evolution of energy that eventually resulted in Homo sapiens. And the second account relates how God attached beings to their bodies. Please click the thumbs up icon if you like this video. Also leave your comments and questions below. Until the next time, remember humility, thanks, and joy.